I'm happy that the two professors before me have done a good job and they have reduced the level of what I'll be presenting, so I can focus on the core issues. I'm going to take these concepts one by one, but it's not a question about definition. We'll go beyond the one sentence definition and may string other issues into the discussion so that we can see how we can enrich it from different perspectives. Because this whole have people with knowledge, capacity, skill, and experiences. And I think it will be better if we do it that way. One of the things that I find difficult to do is to actually sit down and talk and talk and talk and talk. I prefer that we engage in a conversation. When we are taking advocacy, people in civil society know a lot about advocacy. Media people know something about advocacy. But you in the media, do you know that you are also targets of advocacy? Yes, you are. The person saying, do you work in the media? Those of you who are journalists, do you know that you are targets of advocacy?
Yes.
And people come to advocate for things every day. They are coming to advocate so that they can have
A voice.
proper, effective media coverage. That's one perspective to the advocacy towards the media. But at the same time, the media organizations also engage in advocacy. And you have it under different names in journalism: advocacy journalism, campaigning journalism, and so on and so forth. So what do you want to achieve with advocacy? Can you go to the section on advocacy? Do we have to define advocacy?
From the
Many
professor.
people know about it now.
No, from the professor's perspective.
From who? Don't collaborate with professorship. What is it?
Yeah.
Okay, for me, I say advocacy is a planned process of actions or series of actions directed at specific individuals who are in a position to grant permission or access to people in communities, organizations or agencies of government to secure their understanding and support, to accept or pursue a course of action, or mobilize people for participation in a defined project. Is it general enough? I have it too expansive. Because most of the time they say engagement for support, engagement for participation, engagement for mobilization, engagement to become an advocate. And at times you do advocacy to just an individual, isn't it? But there are times when you have to do advocacy to several people. So what is the basis of your advocacy? It will be defined by what you want to achieve, the goal. What is our goal in this program about the advocacy that we are going to do for non-kinetic approaches? Can anybody come in?
I think the aim is to go away from kinetic, which is violence.
Not completely.
And give more prominence to non-conventional ways of solving the insurgency.
Yes, sir. The guiding is very important. Let us not throw it away. I had somebody speak with
my own opinion is it is targeted at changing the narrative from the negative to the positive.
This one is a long-term goal, isn't it?
But
Yes.
I think advocacy is usually mostly to strengthen resolve. It's a call to action, bringing in more people to understand the perspective or direction of an action, and so that you can garner support, so that you can garner understanding, so that there can be a mass movement towards a definite direction or area. I think advocacy generally is about mobilization, it's about the psyche, it's about conviction, and well, that's what I feel.
That's great. It has many components. If you have loaded goals, it will be very difficult to achieve them. So, those of you in civil society, let me speak our language. We unpack them, isn't it?
Sure.
If you want to just get somebody's support, that's one form of advocacy. You want them to just support you. No more. Or you can advocate and say, please, this is the position, this is the issue. But because of your standing, if you speak on it, people will respect you and they will do what you want to do. Another form. There is a problem in our community. Our environment is not clean. We want to clean our environment. So we talk to the elders, we reach out to the young people, come out. Every first Saturday of the month, let us clean our environment. So we are mobilizing people to clean the environment. That's another form of advocacy. So there are many perspectives to it. It depends on the goal. It is good to always take one goal at a time. Rather than taking them wholesale. What you said is correct. But I prefer a situation where we'll have measured advocacy. Just like those of you who are in the media, we have particularly, those of us in the media, both radio, television, newspapers, and magazines. Why do you think we like to write one sentence paragraph?
Sharp, direct advocacy, because it makes more impact.
We want one idea at a time. Because, as they say, Toradu. So that is why we are unpacking it. And we decided that we should look at it in terms of the goal and what it is that we want to achieve. If you want people to, that's a different thing. If you want them to come out, mobilize, and convince other people to go along, fine and good. I'll tell you what we did in civil society here. One of the advocacies we did was to take the risk to enter Ghana. Those of you who know about the insurgency, you know where Ghana is.
Yes.
Okay, we are the first to go there after they have cleared the place. And we opened the doors for the police, for the military, and other security services. Who helped us to go there? Civilian Joint Task Force. What were we going to do in Ghana? We wanted to get you and train them on how to resolve conflicts without violence. We went to the community, we sat there. We got 20 girls, 20 males, and 10 females. We went to Kaswa. We went to Moromti. We went to Benishek, A and B, Lawanti A, Lawanti B. We were also in Gwenge, and we had one simple message. Do you think we can work together to bring peace in this community? And everybody said, yes, peace is better than everything. But we said we have a problem. We are not humanitarian NGO.
We're not bringing anything.
No money, no food items, no clothing, no work, no skills.
They will leave you.
But if you agree, we'll sit down in your community and talk about the problems of your community. We assure you through talking you can solve your problems. And in every community that we went, they all said the same thing. Peace is better than everything. If we don't have peace, we cannot even cook food in our houses. If you start cooking and there is gunshot, the next thing is you take off. If there is bomb blast, you take off. So peace is everything. But we say we are not going to talk with you, we are not going to work with you. What we are looking for is permission to work with your young people in your own community and let us solve the problem. But the type of advocacy that we do in civil society organizations, we usually go with advocacy tools, right? In most cases, what you call ITC materials, information, education, and communication materials. Because it depends on who is the target of your advocacy. If the person is you are targeting highly educated people who can read and write and understand certain complexions, it is better to go and talk and then you leave the materials with them. Then they can read materials, they can understand the materials. But let us be careful, and those of us in civil society we know that advocacy is not a one-off. That is why I said it is a process. Some people think that we want to do advocacy. You go and saw the bulama, the waterhead, only once. There are some people that you may have to go several times before you convince them. So it's not a one-off. But there is a tendency to always believe that if we go there once, it will be okay. There are many things that would interfere. Maybe on the day that the person has agreed to see you, something may come up. There may be an emergency for the person. The person may travel. You come and they say, you're just going to the farmland because they suspected some. Others are around the place, they want to go and protect the farm. Or, may it not happen. Somebody was eaten by a snake. And all sorts of things. When you come, the person has taken his or her child to hospital. Can you send someone, the big man? They know it was so serious. So you see, you don't even get the opportunity to meet and relay the message. Some, you come to their community, they listen to you, they say it is all right. And we have that experience. This thing that you are talking about is very good. Can you come back on another day? I will gather all the ward heads, all the religious leaders in the community, the women, leaders, and leaders of the young people, so that we'll sit down and discuss. So we did it. And we discovered from that after talking with the elders and then having to deal with all these categories of people, then we discovered that each one of them will need a separate advocacy session. So we did it with the religious leaders, we did it with parents, we did it with male youth leaders, and then female youth leaders. But because we are dealing with the media, there is something that we need to understand when we are doing advocacy to the media. The tendency is they want to pile a lot of material to the media. They don't have time to read all those things. Because there are many competing stories, many competing issues, many competing events. So they have to pick and choose. And if your material does not have the news attention value that is desired, certainly it will not be taken. And that is why it is good. We in civil society, we now have to do infographics, we know how to write short stories, and we bring them and they take them. Let me quickly say something which is not in the paper. For those of us in civil society, if you want to get effective, proper from the media, do you know who you should submit materials to them? Don't submit it on Monday. It will not pass. Don't submit it on Tuesday. It will not pass. Don't submit it on Wednesday. It will not pass. Don't submit it on Thursday. It will not pass. Don't on Friday also. But please come on Saturday. There will be a lot of space to accommodate you. Yeah, that's in the day. Exhaustion is the day. These are the days of news drought. Days of news drought. So it's one technique that I personally practice. If I want to do anything, I want to get good media coverage. People in my office will come and say, oh, forget it. Let's wait for weekend. There is a very high possibility that it will be big. It will be broadcast. It will be published. But that tells us a fundamental problem with our media orientation. Do you know why it happens that way? Because of our reliance on official news sources. So let us think about this. Are officials the only people who matter, who can tell us something that is of interest about our society, about our community, about our organization? Or are there other sources? But the media people are leaving you to solve that problem. So, let me just quickly recap this. We do advocacy to promote understanding of an issue or challenge facing the community, organization, or government, getting support for a course of action in the interest of the community, organization, or society, secure the acceptance of an opinion leader to speak in favor of a course of action, that is to argue in favor or defend or plead for a cause. The person who accepts to advance your cause becomes your advocate. So advocacy requires actively championing for support for or promotion of a particular issue, policy, or interest. Remember, I'll come back to your point. Active pursuit. It is not a passive activity. Yes, go ahead. There is no one template for advocacy. You can come in many forms. Public awareness campaign. Do you see that as advocacy? Yes. Lobbying? Okay. But be careful about lobbying. Lobbying and advocacy. There is a thin dividing line. Not all advocacy is lobbying, but all lobbying is advocacy. Do you understand that? Not all advocacy is lobbying, but all lobbying is advocacy. Just one form. Trying to convince people to take a course of action. But the other way, we are creating awareness, we are motivating people to take action, and so on and so forth. That's very clear, right? Okay. Now I have to waste time on the rest. Community organizing, media, advocacy, policy analysis and development. Let us go to issues for advocacy. What are the issues that you think we can advocate for under the current insurgency that we can deal with in a non-kinetic way?
Peace is one.
Okay, peace.
Policy.
What is that?
Policy.
Policy, yes.
Government visibility.
Government visibility.
Human rights protection.
Forget about those issues. Let us go to concrete issues.
Human rights abuses.
Yes. Under this current conflict, it is very important for us to understand that when we are talking about this conflict, we are also talking about other conflicts. There are multiple conflicts in this conflict. For those who are not here, some of the things that we are experiencing is that there are community issues. The displaced people, we have them in three categories. There are those who are in government camps. That's a different setting, different context. There are those who have taken refuge with their own relations. And there are those who were not living with their relations. They are not in the official IDP camps, but they are in unofficial IDP camps, residing within the host community. There are many conflicts in that. Even for those who are within the camp, they have their own challenges because they are people from different backgrounds. As Net Numbers and McKenna would say, the people that you see are different in terms of characters and characteristics, in terms of customs and costumes. Is that the case? Are we different in terms of customs and costumes in this
Yes.
room?
Yes.
Sure. And so are we different in terms of characters and characteristics? So we need to understand this diversity. So because of that, there was that tension. There is this study that we did for UNDP on strategic conflict assessment for Nigeria. Party took care of Northwest and took care of Northeast. One of the conflict conversations that was taking place in the IDP camps was among those who were in the camps. Somebody will say, I know it's your brother who killed my uncle. I cannot do anything to you here. But I assure you, when we go back, I will avenge the death of my relation. That conversation was taking place. Then there were other things. Exploitations within the camp. Food for sex. Unwanted pregnancies, including infanticide. These are human rights issues. And there was need to engage with the camp management and say, look, we have to do something about this. And for those who are in host communities, they had their own tensions with the people who are in the communities. I know in one house community they said they never had crime until these displaced people came. That they were influencing their children to become wayward, and so on and so forth. So if you have to do advocacy on this, where will you go? To the IDPs? No. Who will you find? So let me tell you something about the original communities. After they closed the camps and they went back to their homes, there was a tension between returnees and remainees. By the time these people went back, they discovered that some of these people that were available had taken over their homes. They have eaten all their food. They have slaughtered their animals. Because those who remained, that was the only option they had for survival. And those who left, they thought they would come back and find their food, they would find their property. And this tension is still there. Where would you go to do your advocacy? Who will you talk to? Who will grant you access? And to make matters worse, we had the flood disaster. Can we do advocacy to the media to put the spotlight on these issues and come out important messages so that people will know that these tensions are there and there are ways that this can be resolved? Are you getting ideas of where you can get other stories now? Other materials that you can present? I have not seen this in media. Has anybody cared to report anything about this from this perspective? And this for those of you who are journalists in Medellin? Okay. How many reports?
Two. We will present two tomorrow.
Two.
One on the town, Mukawa, and another on floor. 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
What about
That's good enough. But we need more. We need more. Yeah, so there can be many issues. We can talk about the environmental issues, we can talk about social justice, we can talk about education, we can talk about healthcare, we can talk about security. And the security factor is also very important. You know the challenge about this conflict, where it happened, and where we are still having problems in the Northwest. How many police stations are you likely to find in Mongolia local government? How many police posts are you likely to find in Mongolia local government? Or in Calabar? Or in Bama? So most of the stations are located in the local government headquarters. I don't know whether they have divisional headquarters, but in most cases, having ordinary police station is a problem. So, and the policing of our environment is a factor that gave birth to this conflict. And that was what Prof was talking about ungoverned spaces. This is one perspective to it. When we meet as scholars, we will argue. We have our own arguments. There is nothing like an ungoverned space. That's a different intellectual debate. But, oh, you are shocked. but every part of the country that does not have presence is an ungoverned space. That is why these characters will get the opportunity to take over. Because there is no presence of government to do anything. And I will tell you what complicates the problem. The local government reform of 1976. It took over the control of your forest reserves from the traditional rulers, and they left it to the local government. And then there was nobody to police these government reserves. So criminals and miscreants took over. And this is actually one of the things that worsened the situation also in the Northwest. Apart from rural banditry. There was a time we were in Abuja, the Defense College, and I was talking about distance and response capacity of our security agencies. If somebody in Malamfatori were to put a distress call to Maiduguri, how soon will the police respond to get there?
And there's an emergency attack.
No, it's not up to 2 weeks. Yes? You start at 6 o'clock in Maiduguri, you get there by 6 or 8 p.m. By then, if they want to do anything, they have finished killing everybody in that village, isn't it? We are talking of a state that is 13 times the size of Lagos State, Borno State. We are talking of a state that is 3 times the size of the 5 southeastern states. So we are talking of a state that is 3 times the size of Gombe State, and Gombe State is bigger than all the 5 southeastern states. There are a lot of stories that will come from this, a lot of messages that will come from this. But let us make progress and see. Messages. From a mass communication perspective, when you talk messaging, I will say coding. It's as simple as that. What is coding?
Messaging.
Putting a message together. Right? And messaging is not just simply putting messages together. It has a different thrust compared to coding. And the purpose of messaging is to engineer a response that motivates receivers to take some form of action, preferably in the way desired by the source of the message. When I was putting this, I was saying, what is the whole purpose of communication? It is how one mind influences another to respond, right? The response may be unpredictable. I'll talk about that shortly. Can we go back to where I have the definition of messaging? Go. No. Can you go down? No, you're going up now, isn't it? It is a deliberate process of creating a message for the purpose of achieving a particular outcome or action. In messaging, greater attention is paid to the tone, style, form or structure of the message. The concern with messaging is to convey information accurately, to inform, persuade, and often to engage the receivers of the message. So we are dealing with messaging that is very engaging. It is not just sending information. We are actually expecting communication. When I send you a text, I have not communicated with you. Have I? Even if you read it, there is no communication here. But when you respond, then communication has taken place. Then what is information? What is information? The content of the text I sent? Message from an informed point of view? No. No, don't worry. This is the definition of information. And I will challenge you to challenge this definition.
Process data.
Information is uncertainty reduction. Uncertainty reduction. Any piece of information that you get and help you to reduce uncertainty, to take a decision, that is information.
Professor.
Professor. Eh? Is that? This uncertainty reduction. It's not too technical, so let me make it complex for you. Does communication break down? Communication never breaks down.
It pause.
Communication never breaks down. What you call communication breakdown is actually when communication is most effective.
You cannot not communicate. Lower.
He's communicating.
Ask him to come again now. Why are they keeping quiet?
The communication is ongoing. Silently ongoing. That is non-verbal communication. Communication is silent. This one is verbal. He's not speaking now. He's just gesticulating.
Anyway, I can use my sister Angela, no problem. Supposing a young man comes to her and sees her and says, "You look very beautiful."
She is.
That's her saying anything. You are beautiful. Are you deaf? No response. Has communication broken down?
No. Maybe she has no interest.
I sent a letter to you in Abuja. And you got that letter and decided not to reply. Has communication broken down?
No.
No.
Yes.
Message. In the civil society, we are saying advocacy message as specifics.
We are just taking messages now.
Okay.
The communication continues because the refusal to reply is also sending another communication.
Yes.
So maybe you are not
Interested.
enough to be responding. Or maybe the message.
The fact that you didn't fantastic Shirumama. Doesn't mean that has broken down.
Kakana ta ce kurma ma magana ne.
And you people will say communication has broken down. That's not broken. It doesn't say that. It is one of the fallacies about communication. But people who don't know much about communication will tell you there is communication breakdown. And we know there is no breakdown. Yes. We'll talk about noise. Don't worry. So, have I convinced you that communication doesn't break down?
Yes.
Okay. Even when you are talking to a person who is deaf and you are not getting an answer back, there is nothing to do. Think through it. Why is this person not talking to me? And then somebody will come and tell you that, well, the person cannot talk to you because the person doesn't hear you. So what you call communication breakdown, you are just saying that the information has not reached the person and you are not getting a response. Is that what communication breakdown is? Okay.
So, but what is information is still hanging.
Uncertainty reduction.
No, uncertainty reduction, that's all.
Yes. Anything that reduces uncertainty is information. That is why they say information is power. Yes.
Power.
Since
message of communication.
My concern is that this message for communication has to be understood by the receiver. For communication to take place, there has to be understanding. But let me get it.
Very clear. You said for communication to happen, there must be understanding. No, it's not necessary. Oh, it's not necessary. Then I will explain subsequently.
Because in a situation whereby the receiver of the message fails to reply to you based on the information that he
What's your business?
if he didn't understand the message you sent to him at that
That's a
point,
different thing entirely. I will sort it out. Don't sort it out. Okay. To do proper messaging, you need to understand the cultural context in which you are communicating. And it must fall within the field of experience of the receiver or receivers of the message. When we talk about the person's field of experience, it can be about the age of the person, about the education of the person, about the ability of the person to speak and understand that language. Once these ones fall outside the field of experience, it will be difficult to get the type of response that you need. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So the aim of messaging is to ensure that the message is understood, accepted, and lead to the behavior or response desired. So, I will go to the point where you people are getting worried. It is important to understand that a particular message can be misinterpreted or distorted. Does it mean that communication has not taken place? One, it may be that the message is selectively perceived. And I'll tell you a very simple one. Somebody went to hospital, and the person cannot fill the hospital card. They say name, he mentioned his name. They say sex, he said 3 times a day.
I think we're gonna do it.
It's perception now. The other one said, I like it very much. So don't think if you send a message to the interpreter, the way it will be misunderstood. It's perceived. So, it can be used to confirm a pre-existing belief or expectation leading to confirmation bias. And we are very good at doing that in Nigeria. At times we hear the information, it is like, this is what we have been saying, this is our position. Well, that is not the essence of the message. Somebody said Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, right? Then everybody in Nigeria is poor. We have been telling people that Nigeria is a very poor country. Everybody is poor, but people don't want to understand. But is that correct?
Fallacy.
Then, misattribution. The message can be misattributed to another source that is completely not the source of that message. And there could be some generalization of your message. We know that some people, some students are strong-headed. Most of them are doing drugs, particularly if they come from X state. So you generalize to everybody in that state. From which state? From social state. No wonder. Okay,
Profiling.
That's another language.
Policy of generalization.
Okay. So let us understand that how we communicate the message. There are certain factors that can influence understanding of the message. Maybe the person was stressed, or the person was feeling very sleepy. The person is old. The person is not paying attention. And then the cultural background might be different. Remember what I said about field of experience. But let me tell you the one that most of you in communication know. There may be noise. Technical noise was what you are talking about. You can hear the person at the other end. The other person can, you can, the other he cannot hear you or she cannot hear you because of noise in the channel. That interference is noise. It can interfere with the message and it can be misinterpreted. And at times the person may assume that this is what you said and that is not exactly what you said. We went to Friday prayers. Somebody was going to marry his daughter. And the person making the announcement. Salamu alaikum jama'a. Za a ɗaure gaurin gidan dokta zai aure da matansa. So quickly somebody sees the microphone and says, za mu aure da ƴarsa ba matansa ba. So you can imagine. And the favorite one, those of you who read Mascom, semantic noise. You remember the Machiavelli's example?
Yes.
An Oxford trained graduate returned to Nigeria, living in a 3-bedroom house which he built, well furnished. Unfortunately, the house caught fire. And he had access to fire brigade, so he dialed fire brigade. The person at the end of the line of the fire brigade finished only primary 6. Fireman, a big conflagration has engulfed my edifice domicile. Fireman, a big conflagration has engulfed my edifice domicile. So what are you saying? Are you dead? I said a big conflagration has engulfed my edifice domicile. We continued until the house got burnt. What was he trying to say? My house is on fire.
Very good.
Simplicity, always. Unless you want to be over here, go. The one from the door who speaks grammar that many of us don't understand. So there could be semantic noise. Don't think that if you tell people certain things that they can hear and they can understand. You may be speaking the same language. And we do have this in Hausa between different dialects. You bring somebody from Kano to speak with somebody from Cape. Do you know that there are cases where they cannot communicate with each other in Hausa? They can only use English, and they are both speaking Hausa. I remember one Kano lady was telling me she went to Sokoto at the Gigenya Memorial Hotel. So she came out, she was asking him, "Why the guy doesn't sound say man shafa?" He said, "King and kids are like you're going to be now." Well, I'm not going to be. For her, Godabe means river. Yes. And for them, there it means road. So, you can have semantic noise, and the message will not be understood. And then there will be environmental noise. For example, we are having this discuss conversation, discussion, and this of people having comes outside. It will interfere with our communication. We may not hear very well. Or cars are passing in vehicles in large numbers and each one honking their horn. Or even a convoy. That will be environmental noise. Or you have somebody shuffling. Environmental noise. Or somebody humming. Environmental noise. That is how we don't want side talks, because side talks is environmental noise. It interferes with the communication in the home. Yes, civil phone calls. That is why we in civil society do ground rules. Say, switch off your phone, put it on vibration or silence. Speaker recognition. No disappearing acts. No side talks. And so on and so forth, depending on what we are doing. Next. So all these ones that we are talking about relate to what is called aberrant decoding of message. The message may not be interpreted the way we want it. But that is how we do messaging. Our messaging is to ensure that when people receive the message, they will actually respond to it the way we understand. But it doesn't matter if they don't understand it. That is how we call it communication. If they misunderstand it, we now redo the message in such a way the person will understand. So, thinking through messaging is necessary. Thinking through messaging is necessary to convey what is intended in the proper language for the purpose of eliciting the appropriate or desired response. So what is messaging? Messaging is a continuous and consistent process of packaging messages directed at a target audience that help them to understand issues and events in a context that make meaning and enable them to respond in a desired way. We have to understand that messaging can help to shape narratives. Any comment? Any observation? Okay, we go to engagement. What is engage? Yes.
Environmental noise. I know sometimes in advocacy, we also use that as a strategy to grow the attention to policymakers. Sometimes we see in the gathering where you try for months to at least reach out to the policymaker, and then no opportunity. Only for you to know that there is a wedding ceremony and the person is coming, for instance, a governor or something, and then those other people that make noises to shout, making enchantment, those people understand what you want, and they use the opportunity to make the noises, and then the person comes and then understand that there is actually an issue. So you use that environmental noise to grab the attention and still pass your advocacy message to also get your result. Is that out of context since we're talking about advocacy? Because I know
that is not environmental noise. It's a strategy of catching attention. Yes. Environmental noise is anything in the environment that interferes with the reception and understanding of the message. So, but that one, you are telling us one other strategy about who we can deal with our politicians to catch their attention. That is well taken. That is well taken. What is engagement? What is to engage?
Bring together to discuss.
Yes.
Okay, I think my understanding of engagement is interaction between two groups of people, between one person and another, or between groups and groups. When they come together, that's when they
Civil society people, what does it mean to engage? What does it mean to you? Huh? I think now we're going to begin in scripture.
Your mic, use the mic.
Getting involved in the topic of discussion. Agreement between a male and female lover to say that we are getting prepared for marriage. That's not the engagement we are talking about. It is important, isn't it? It is deliberate reaching out to someone. Reaching out to someone. To a person or group. To establish a relationship, no matter how fleeting. To discuss or address an issue or collaborate to achieve a particular result or change a situation. The engagement can be one-off action, it can be a series of actions. And we do engagement most of the time. You come to this hall this morning, you engage somebody in a conversation, one-off. Right?
Yes.
And maybe you just engage, what is your name? Where are you from? Which region do you work for? I work for this, I work for that. That is the end of the engagement. So you have established some form of familiarity, right?
Yes.
Okay. We do this engagement in this civil society beyond the one-off. In fact, we don't want one-off engagement. Even after we have finished our project, we still continue to engage with the people that we work on the project with. This youth peace platform that I was talking about, we started in 2017. And I use environmental sanitation as just one example. But we actually introduced environmental sanitation in those areas in 2017. At the end of every month, they will have it. Those of you who are in Maiduguri, cast your minds back. Anytime you are driving towards the airport, from Lahi and Lulu to Umar Shehu Hospital, it was always neat. It was the youth in that community that decided to do it. After talking to them about resolving conflicts, I think it is good to share that experience. After teaching them how to resolve conflicts without violence, we allowed them to, we said, go back to your community and see what you can do. Then something happened. There is a Christian family residing near a mosque. Every day when they are having the afternoon prayers, somebody will come and throw garbage near the mosque. Then it became a problem in that community. So some of them were saying the Christians were doing it deliberately. And they are doing it when they are going to have afternoon prayers. Because of our engagement with the community and the discussions we had with them, the word had said, we have these our youth who are peacemakers in our community. Call them, let us talk to them. So they said, this is the problem we are experiencing. They said, okay, Bokodep has told us to engage with these people and discuss whoever it might be. So can you give us time? We'll go to the house. We'll talk to the family. Let us hear what they have to say. So they went to the house. On the Saturday, the people were at home. They greeted them and they informed them that it appears that they were fond of throwing rubbish near the mosque in the afternoon, during afternoon prayers. They said, we? When did we ever do that? We have never done it. But anyway, we have one Albadi who comes and cleans our house, sweeps our house for us. We find out from him. So you can come back the following day. They came back the following day and they found this Albadi there. They said, okay, explain to them what you have been doing with the rubbish. He said, well, anytime I sweep the house and there is a place near the mosque, I just have throw the rubbish. Supposing, knowing our volatile Nigerian environment, supposing these young people have not been trained and they have been by for training, we would have had a problem in Burukutu because it's a conflict between Muslims and Christians. So they reported back to the ulama and said, no, these are not the people who are doing it. There is an Al-Majri who does that. So they show the Al-Majri where they would dump the refuse. In that community, there was a challenge. There was somebody who was in charge of the Borno Environmental Protection Agency. He was living in that area. So we taught them advocacy skills. And they went to him and explained to him that they will be cleaning their own environment, but you should please send the vehicle to help them evacuate the refuse. They never saw him again. So refuse was piling up. Then they came and told the elders that, look, we are not going to fight, but we are going to be depositing the refuse by the roadside. They said, go ahead. So they started dumping the refuse by the roadside. Just there, this woman selling no. Then the person started getting calls actually. So person, some of you know here, what do you call this?
We know.
So they call him and they say, you said you are doing environmental sanitation. See the heap of garbage in Burukutu Nala in the Nuno. Garbage? Said yes. Day one calls, day two calls, day three calls. The first day he came to the community. When we met you and we said this is what we want, you are not coming to clear the refuse. So we decided to dump them by the roadside. And that actually helped them. Now they are getting it clear. To crown it all, International Rescue went to their community and they saw people clearing the environment. They wanted to talk to some elderly people. Then one of them said, no, let us talk to these young people. They came and met them and they said, so no good at no, I gave young, who is paying us? For what? They we saw you sweeping the place. They said, yes, we do this at the end of every month. So the person they got his colleagues, they came. And they say, who taught you this? They say, well, Borno Coalition for Democracy and Progress came and taught us how to live in peace, how to take care of our environment. Then they say, hey, that's so. They said, yes. So they say, how can we help you now? I say, can you do toilets for us? They said, yes. Go to Burukutu Kaswa. They have 20 twin toilets. One for males, one for females. There is no open defecation in that area. When you engage on a long-term basis, you will get the results of your engagement. And that is why I'm advocating those of us in civil society, we should learn to engage those in the media and vice versa. It is very important. Do I still have more time?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
You have up to 5:30.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, beautiful. So active engagement involves building cooperative relationship. It doesn't mean that you are going to be friends, but you establish that understanding, that familiarity, And you can do joint activities. You can do joint activities. And I had this conversation with it yesterday or today about these joint activities between media people and CSOs. CSOs have a way of engaging, yes, have a way of engaging the media. They do not engage because they just want publicity. Yes, I think it was yesterday. So, even though Pate closed the chapter on that discussion yesterday, but for most of us in today's society, we hardly close the chapter on anything. When they organize events, they invite media people as participants in that event, not for them to come and just cover, but as participants in that event. If the event is taking place in Abuja, they will pay for their transport to Abuja, just like any other participant. They will give them accommodation just like any other participant. And they will participate in all the sessions, just like any other participant. They will pay them their per diem, they will pay them their taxes, they will reimburse their transport if it is reimbursable, if they didn't buy a ticket for you, or you hire a vehicle. And they give this to media people. And the purpose of doing that is engaging the media on a very strong platform. It is not a question of coming for opening ceremony, closing ceremony. They sit down and through the whole discussion, and they give a very broad view of the contents of the discussion. The issues involved, the challenges involved, the solutions involved, the actors involved, whether there are legal issues involved, there are policy issues involved. That gives them the opportunity to actively participate in that particular activity. Just like we are having. Even though we are saying we are focusing on media and people and message, but the critical factor is we have civil society. And I think it was Ambassador Abeshehu or Bulama, this one. Abeshehu, that says we need to be something so that we can understand what the media is. And vice versa. So, when we do that, we have eliminated the issue of this brand envelope thing that they are trying to brush on every journalist.
A lie.
It is not every journalist that collects brand envelope. And of course, there are certain media organizations that have very strong posts that ensure that their journalists working for them are not employed in this unethical behavior. I don't know whether it still happens. I have seen some newspapers that have this in their, just like a newspaper promo, saying, the Punch, Daily Trust,
Premium Times.
Premium Times, and what?
NTA?
It is not a question of pay. It's a question of value. It's a question of value. There are people who are not well paid in where they work.
Yes.
But their work ethic, their value is different. Commitment, discipline, ethical behavior, you will never believe that they are suffering from poor payment. It's a value thing. People who value their integrity will never soil their hands in anything, no matter what the situation. So that's just the challenge. And we need to be thinking about this in civil society. I chair a board of one civil society organization, I don't mention it. And we were doing an event, celebrating an event. And somebody said, press hospitality. I said, what is that? I said, press hospitality. I said, what is that? Say, look, the media people don't need your hospitality. So they were shocked. So, but there are human beings, if they come, we'll give them transport. I say that is even worse. Please don't insult them. Don't insult them. There are people we are inviting from outside, right? Give them the same status. Give them the same status. Please don't insult them.
I hope you mean it.
So that nobody would accuse us of blaming anybody. When they come in as participants, what the others get is the same thing with the media. And if anybody comes from any medium without an invitation letter, don't admit the person. Stop. You don't have to be insulting journalists about this nonsensical thing called crime.
Online.
So, I don't know the type of engagement you want to do between civil society and the media. But let us understand one thing. Your engagement may require just intellectual discussion, collaboration of projects, doing joint statements, and so on and so forth. Or you can do projects together, look for money and do projects together between you and journalists. That's another form of engagement. But we have to.
Yes.
Okay.
Prof, thank you so much for the lecture so far. I think you can see that we're listening with rapt attention. Even the fact that you are soft spoken, but we're still listening, aren't we? Yeah. Exactly. So he was asking a very germane question, and I think it is necessary to intervene at this time, because this workshop and training is what? Enhancing the capacities of journalists and CSOs to use non-kinetic approaches in fighting insurgency. So if we are talking about the need for engagement between the CSOs and journalists, one is likely to say that the nature of the engagement, Prof, should be an engagement that will bring about a change in narrative towards more peace work, peace building, national development, and more importantly, development of the Northeast region in harmony. Thank you.
Do we take that as conclusion to my presentation?
Thank you so much, Prof. I think on a personal note, understand where that quick intervention was coming from. And at the same time, I think it's quite sacrosanct that we say clearly that what you have taught us so far, a very scholarly presentation, is not antithetical to its observation. If we want to have a change